The road to WrestleMania is making a pit stop right here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and one of the superstars making that pit stop along with it, pleased to be joined by Samoa Joe. Joe, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Good to be here.
Oh, well, speaking of WrestleMania, let's jump right into it. No set plans yet. Not looking for any spoilers or anything like that, but obviously Samoa Joe is going to make his presence felt at WrestleMania. Have you got something planned out?
I have several plans and contingencies, but what actually happens is going to be very dependent on the read of the situation once I get there.
Interesting. And well, we talk about making an impression. First impressions are very important. When you made your debut on Raw, very big impact you made. Obviously, taking out Seth Rollins, one of the biggest superstars on the Raw roster.
Yeah.
The thing that I find interesting is, especially in today's world, it's very difficult to keep things under the radar.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were very unexpected. How difficult was it for you to keep that quiet?
I mean, I think I'm relatively a private person, so I mean, I don't entrust a lot of my secrets to a lot of other people. So, you know, there was the right people knew what was going to go down, and I was more than happy to help along their plans, and here I am on Raw.
Awesome. And before that, obviously, I'm kind of backtracking here. It's almost like the reverse Seinfeld episode here. Going into NXT, when you made your WWE debut in NXT, I think, in my opinion, NXT is mislabeled as a developmental territory. I think it's WWE's third brand, and what I like about it is the nice mix of young, hungry, passionate talent. Also some veteran talent like yourself, the Bobby Roodes and so on, and Shinsuke Nakamura, who also have that same passion.
Yeah.
How was your first impressions of NXT when you first started?
I think that's very much in line with what I felt. See, NXT, when I first got there, was kind of in the midst of this transformation. It was becoming very much a third brand for WWE, and it has. You know, obviously we have, like I said, a lot of young, hungry guys, a lot of guys newer to the realms of sports entertainment. But, you know, it's kind of tempered by, you know, these world-class, you know, veterans and world-class wrestlers in general who've come from, you know, several different companies, walks of life, countries, you know, and it's this melting pot of these two, you know, real dynamic forces where you have, like I said, you have the young, hungry up-and-comers who are looking to make their mark, and you have these, you know, these really seasoned veteran wrestlers who, you know, have traveled the world, who've been involved in some of the greatest, you know, matches and bouts and matchups in our history. And, you know, NXT is the kind of melting pot where all of that comes together and collides. And I think because of that unique mix, you've gotten these really tremendous events in most of the takeovers that you see. So, you know, I'm very much, you know, like to say that, you know, I helped transition it from that developmental heading to WWE's third brand, and it's still going strong.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you know, people like yourself, veterans who have had some legendary matches outside of WWE and some great rivalries. One that comes to mind for me is your legendary rivalry with one going into the Hall of Fame this year, Kurt Angle. Tell us what it's like to wrestle an Olympic gold medalist.
Kurt's interesting in that, much like many Olympians, they kind of have this brainwashed mentality where it's almost it's unacceptable to be second best. And Kurt's very much that type of athlete, very much that type of performer. And you know, when Kurt came in and we started, you know, our big rivalry, it basically was based around the fact that he knew I was the man at the time, and you know, he didn't want to wait, he didn't want to build himself up, he wanted to go after the top dog and get right down to it. So taking into account that kind of mentality, his performance level matches that mentality. And I mean, you know, I as a athlete and as a wrestler, I can't say enough about Kurt Angle, and his Hall of Fame induction is very well deserved.
Absolutely, it is, and your training as well. It's not just professional wrestling that you are versed in. Obviously, you have other disciplines, combat sports.
Yeah, you know, started judo as a kid. Kind of grew up doing that, and then you know, in Southern California, as kind of the mixed martial arts scene took its form, you know, I was part of a lot of gyms out there that, you know, went on to produce great fighters for several different teams and several different promotions. And I've always found myself, you know, gravitating to pro wrestling because that was my first love. That was kind of my introduction into, I guess, large-scale combat sports. And, you know, I've kind of followed that path. But, you know, I still keep in touch with those guys, still train here and there. So it's a fun side hobby.
Well, one of those people in Southern California early in your career that you kind of crossed paths with is current WWE superstar on a different brand, John Cena. Did you kind of see that for the future of John Cena? I mean, like sometimes it's you see somebody right at the beginning of their career and you say, you know what, that guy's got something. Did you see that in John?
I think the biggest attribute when it comes to John that I still think he has today over a lot of people in spades is John is never a guy not to put in the work. He would be the type of guy that, you know, John was probably a little bit further along. You know, they have 2 classes in a school, and I would teach like the morning basics class, and there would be an advanced class with, you know, several different instructors that would work with guys. And John was, you know, relegated to the advanced class, but he would still make the time to come back to the basic class just to get reps, just to get that much more time in ring. And it wasn't once or twice a week, you know, it wasn't, you know, every so often, it was every day. And you know, he was driven. He had a goal in mind. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. So I've never faulted John as far as, you know, putting in the work. And to this day, he still puts in that work.
Yeah, and you talked about training. You trained that class. You said the basic class. One of your trainers I read was actually William Regal, who you give a lot of credit to for really transforming you into the world of professional wrestling and
I think
grasping it.
when myself and Regal crossed paths, I think with a lot of young guys in a lot of different sports, you know, you start doing well for yourself, you start kind of building a reputation, and you start to feel that you've got kind of everything figured out. You know, I know this how it works. I've already had a little taste of success, so, you know, I know what I need to do. And spending time with Regal and working with him in and out of the ring, and, you know, especially a lot of talks about, you know, what you want out of your career and what you want out of, you know, what we do. He was able to kind of really make me realize I did not know a fraction of what I thought I did, and really opened my mind to, you know, the bigger picture. And I think it was very, very vital, especially at that point in my career. Like I said, when I was real young, and you kind of get to these turning points, and you know, he made me realize that my goals needed to be set a little bit higher, and that my ideas about what we do and how we do it are not as clear cut as I thought they were.
Almost comes full circle because now being the commissioner of NXT, you guys had your little run-ins there.
But at this point, I know way more than him. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, he's really disgusting how he is
Okay,
now.
I will not go any further with that one.
I just sad, kind of, you know, just to kind of respect the guy's opinion, and now he's kind of a shell of his former self, but that's neither here nor there. You know?
Oh, well, let's go in a little bit of a different direction.
Did I mention I'm always right and he's always wrong? Okay, that's it. That's the last thing we're going to get in.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah, that's all I need to say.
Okay, we'll leave it at that then. What I like to do sometimes is try to get a little tidbit, a little fact about a WWE superstar that may not be well known to the WWE universe. Is there something that Samoa Joe might be able to reveal to us that I don't want you to self-incriminate yourself, but you know, something that might, a little cool little tidbit.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of cool little tidbits. I mean, like I said, I'm very proud. I mean, 4-time Square Cow karaoke bar champion. I mean, that's just, it's kind of a home title. I don't really talk about it too much, but, you know, but by your setup, I'm kind of thinking that you might have a little bit of a tidbit that you want to delve into.
I just want to clarify a rumor that I heard that in the 1984 Olympics, you actually were part of the opening ceremony.
That's about as obscure as it gets.
Yeah.
Yes, we were. My parents run a large Polynesian dance troupe in Southern California, and of course, the opening ceremony for the Olympics in Los Angeles, they wanted to have representation from around the world, and I was part of the ceremony. Yeah, we were out there. Our group performed, and my father had made a miscalculation about how long it would take our girls to run from the 50-yard line in the LA Coliseum to the changing area, change costumes, come back, and finish up the routine. And you know, we didn't get a lot of time to run through things because obviously it's a big show and slightly less elaborate and less well timed out as most opening Olympic ceremonies these days. So there we are. It's a jam-packed LA Coliseum. Our girls have have gone off stage to make their costume change, and we're just kind of sitting there. It's a little bit of dead air, and I remember my dad grabbed me by the scruff of my neck and threw me over a drum and said, "Do a solo stall. We need time."
How old were you at this point?
I'm 5.
Oh, okay. No pressure.
But he went for the whole total cute car. Like, they'll never boo a kid. You can't boo a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? You know, you have an arena full of scumbags. You know, you don't know if it's going to be Olympics anymore. So, so thankfully, my cuteness paid off. We got enough time to stall. Costume change went on as planned. Girls came out. We finished up the number and call it history.
That's awesome. Like, see, those are the little tidbits sometimes we like to find out about WWE superstars. One last thing before I let you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
My good friend Pumpkinhead managed to get me a copy of the new WWE rules book and how to break them. Actually, the one thing though, it's
A
like,
rules book.
They make it like Rubik's Cube trying to get into this
Yeah,
thing. But I was just curious because as someone who's been on both sides of the fence,
Are you going to finally get around to reading that thing?
Yeah, I got to find out what I've been missing for over 20 years. You know what I mean? But I was just curious. Is there a rule you'd like to see, like maybe implemented into the book, or maybe one just obliterated and just taken out forever?
Oh, I can think of a few. You know, I think the 5 count when somebody's kind of tied up in the ropes is a little bit, you know, outdated. I mean, nobody likes to stop. You know, when I'm in, you know, mid pummeling and I'm, you know, beating somebody viciously about the neck and head, there's nothing worse than having to hear somebody count you down. Like, I got to get everything done in 5 seconds. You know, like I'm an artist. Let me work. You know, let me paint.
I can see that. Is there anything you'd like to add to the book?
Yeah, you know,
The more rules.
the more rules, the less fun it is.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we will.
Well, the road to WrestleMania stopped here in Toronto. Samoa Joe's on his way to WrestleMania. We don't know what he's going to do yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty impactful.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.